Hello Tots, and welcome to a special storytelling episode with me, Emily. Today we'll be learning all about how the National Archives was created over 150 years ago. The building that you can see today looks very modern, but the story starts all the way back in the 1830s. Join me again after Dani's story to discover more of the treasures that we keep inside. See you soon!
Hello everyone, my name is Dani the Storyteller and I'm here for the National Archives. Now you've just been listening to Emily talking all about lots of the things we have at the National Archives, and she's going to tell you some more after, especially about the treasures that we have, the really special documents that we have here at the archives. There's lots of wonderful things. Now, before I tell you any more about what our story is today, I want to find out who's watching from home. So I'm going to take out my binoculars. I'm going to have a look through and I can see Florence. I can see Adisoa. I can see Shankai and Mia and Luca and Rosie and Joseph, and I can see you. So thank you for coming to see me and Rat. Rat is our mascot and often comes on these adventures, and today is all about Rat. Well, actually Rat, your ancestors, but the reason you're here all the time is because rats play a very important role in how places like the National Archives came to be. And today I'm going to tell you the story. Now, to tell this story, we need to be time travellers. We need to spin back in time to the 1830s. So let's do that right now. Get your hands ready. When we spin, we're going to be spinning back in time. Spin your hands forwards and spin backwards. Spin high and down, down, low. Spin fast and slow. Then close your eyes and softly, softly count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. Henry Cole was a lawyer working in the 1830s for government. Now, Henry Cole wrote a lot of very important documents, a bit like this one. Now, when he wrote these very important documents, he would write them with a feather quill pen, rather like this one. Just a feather cut on the bottom and dip, dip, dip in ink and write. All documents were written like that back in the 1830s. Perhaps one day you could make your own feather quill pen. You just need a feather with an end, and maybe it would work with some ink or even some paint. Maybe you could give it a try. Now, Henry Cole one day was looking for another very important document, and he was searching around. Now, back then, documents weren't really very well looked after, and they were kept all over the place, in places in London such as the Tower of London. They were also kept in places such as Westminster Abbey. And they were also kept in people's houses. In fact, just anywhere, really. They were often kept in large wooden boxes, such as this one. It looks a bit like a shiver me timbers, pirate's treasure box. But it wasn't. It was for important documents. Now on this day, Henry Cole was searching. He'd been looking all over. He opened one chest and looked inside. Oh, where is that document? Oh, a pair of socks. Ooh, oh, a banana. Oh, there are my missing keys. I've been looking for those everywhere. And oh, who's left their bread lunch in here too? Where is that document? Now, Henry Cole found lots of other things, as you could see, but not that document. So he kept looking, searching high, whoop, searching low, whoop, this way, whoop, and that way too, whee! But still no document. Eventually, he found another wooden chest, which looked remarkably like the last chest he'd looked in. He opened it up. Reached his hand inside and... Oh, hang on a minute. Rat, you might want to look the other way for this bit. Might get a bit upset. Where was I? He reached his hand inside and felt about until suddenly... he pulled out a dead rat. Ew! And furthermore, Henry Cole did find that very important document. Only it wasn't a very important document anymore. A rat had eaten all around it and through it. It was ruined. You see, documents in those days were made often on parchment paper. And parchment paper was made from sheepskin and was most delicious to rats. This rat had clearly got into the back of the treasure chest through a hole, eaten the very important document and probably many others, and had got a bit fat. In fact, when it came to leave through the hole, it was too fat to fit, and therefore, sadly, it died inside the box until Henry Cole found it. Henry Cole was furious. He took the half-eaten document and he took the dead rat and he made his way all the way down to the Houses of Parliament, where he raced in front of very important politicians, waving the half-eaten important document and the dead rat, and demanded a safe place to keep our nation's important documents. And no politicians took note. In fact, on seeing the dead rat and the half-eaten document, they made a new law. In 1836, the Public Record Office Act was passed, which meant that important documents, such as this one, would be kept safe in places such as the National Archives and looked after for the future generations. And that is why a dead rat became very important to the history of the National Archives. In fact, we still have some bones of dead rats kept there. You can turn back around now, Rat. You're very much alive, and I'm sure I feed you well enough that you won't be eating any documents. Thank you for listening to the story all about the National Archives, and I know Emily's got more things to tell you after too. Thank you for listening. You've been wonderful story listeners. Give yourselves a pat on your back and a shake of your hand. I've loved telling you this story and the others too, and I do hope to see you again another day. For now, give yourselves one thumb up and two thumbs up. Give yourselves an oh yeah. Well done, time travellers. Goodbye for now. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi again. How did you enjoy learning all about Henry Cole and the rat that he found? Our rat friend must be very proud to have his ancestors in the story, even if they were eating precious documents. So, Dani said that we often call our documents treasures. This is because they are special and unique. They are not just shiny objects, but mostly they are things that are written down. The documents tell us about the history of the country, from kings and queens through to ordinary people like you and me. You have all been such brilliant time travellers. I want to show you a few more treasures, which tell us about how people lived and significant events that happened in the past. But the first one I want to show you is, of course, the one that was in the back of Dani's story. It's the rat, who is said to have inspired Henry Cole to keep the nation's documents in a safe place. Shall we take another look then? Here we go. The rat appears very much like it would have done when it got stuck inside the chest. You can see its whiskers and teeth and its claws. I'm actually lucky enough to have seen the rat in real life. It is quite small and kept safely inside a box in one of our most secure rooms. And even though it's just a dead rat, we at the National Archives call it a real document. This is because even though it doesn't have any written information on it, the rat tells us about the history of the National Archives, which is one that you probably know very well by now after Dani's story. The next treasures that I want to show you may be very familiar. Shall we have a look? Do you recognise them? Perhaps your adult will be able to help you if you don't. These are characters from the very famous original Thunderbirds TV series made in 1965. Here we have Thunderbird 1 and pilot Scott Tracy. These are taken from a document called a design register, which is a big book about objects and who owns them. The designs for Thunderbirds show that they were marionettes, which is a type of puppet. And I think these are treasures because they tell us about how people entertained themselves back in the 1960s. And for your adults, they may bring back lots of nice memories. Now, the final treasure I want to show you today is this one. It is a very interesting looking map which tells us about a significant event that happened all the way back in 1666. You may have already heard of it. It's the Great Fire of London. Now, this map has lots of things on it. You can see the River Thames at the bottom and many different streets and buildings all over it. If you look closely enough, you can see the infamous Pudding Lane, where the fire is said to have started. But the most important thing is that it tells us the area that was burned down by the fire. And the box in the top left is a drawing of what the fire looked like when standing on the opposite side of the river. If you'd like to look at a larger version of this and all of the documents featured today, you can see them back on the main activity page. I really hope that you've enjoyed learning all about the many different types of treasures that we look after at the National Archives, but also about our unusual history too. We'll be back again soon. So take care and goodbye.